What's up, Mixnutters? It's your boy Marcus, back in black, and today we are going to be talking about the worst Marvel movies before the MCU and why they didn't work. Coming up next. Before we proceed, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we drop a video. That is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, check us out on Instagram. That is MixNuts3000. Again, MixNuts3000. Run it. All right, now this is the first movie. It's an oldie, but a goodie. It is Howard the Duck, the 1986 version. You know, Howard the Duck just got recently put back in the MCU, but this movie was horrific. It was a flop, all right? Critics hated it. And there's a weird bit of Howard the Duck where it's just so bad, it's kind of awesome. I loved it when I was a kid, but like even when I was a kid, there were moments where I was like, this is strange. This chick is falling in love with a duck, bro. Like, it just everything from the opening, from him reading Play Duck magazine and just like on a play on Playboy or whatever. It was just strange, bro. Let's just take a deeper look at this. But look at this picture, man. Look at this dude, man. Look at him. So Howard the Duck was this feature-length theatrical release film to be adapted from a Marvel character, and the results make for one of the most notorious flops in cinema history. And it was produced by George Lucas, fool. And I'm like, damn, that must have been during his drug phase or something. I don't know if he was on drugs, but dude, how do you go from Star Wars to Howard the Duck? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the visual effects were pretty terrible, even for the time. All the duck puns, everything seemed over the top. And it was a weird, if you ever go back and watch Howard the Duck, man, it was a weird darkness to it, but then at the same time a weird cartooniness to it, but not in a good way, not in like a Tim Burton Beetlejuice kind of way, but just in a like, what the hell, is it two different people making this movie? Like, who's the visionary behind this? And for this to be a George Lucas film after Star Wars, I mean, he's good at building worlds and everything, but this one was just not good. This was not his character to build, man, at all. I mean, they could do another Howard the Duck, but this has probably delayed it because, you know, when you do a legendary bomb like this, it can really stop other movies from happening. I mean, it's gonna take, it just has to be really, really well done for it to come back. Okay, so this next one, The Punisher, the 1989 Punisher movie, right? And this is like over the top action movie stuff. Back in the 80s and 90s, you know, they threw Dolph Lundgren in it, you know what I mean? He was good for the time because, you know, during that time, you know, his English wasn't the best. You know, he really wasn't a good talker. So Punisher don't say much, so it kind of worked out. But this movie, it just wasn't, they weren't investing in stories as much having to do with anything with comic books, man, at the time. They weren't investing the money. It wasn't considered high art at all. It was just considered like a cash grab. But let's dig into it. All right, so this is one of Marvel's most violent characters. This Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, has made screen appearances time and time again since his inception from 2004's Thomas Jane-led film, the 2008 Punisher Warzone. In 2017 Netflix series, before any of those hit the screen, it was this 1989, starring Rocky Forrest, Dolph Lundgren in the lead role, scrubbed of the character's iconic skull insignia. Castle becomes a fairly typical 1980s one-man army, taking on the mafia and the Japanese Yakuza. So that was their biggest thing. I mean, you know, first off, stop changing stuff iconically. It's about the character. You leaving the skull out and just making it copy and paste. Like, nah, man, because they already have one-man army movies. If he's supposed to be the Punisher, you got to make him really stand out. You know what I mean? Kind of like how they did Blade in the beginning, you know? with Wesley Snipes. He stood out. Like, that was a movie, you was like, even if you never heard of the comic books or didn't even know it was a comic book movie, you was like, I'm all in, bro. This movie's badass. And that's the correct assumption. But this Punisher 1989, garbage. If you want to watch it and just have a good time, though, like with how bad it is, go ahead and do it, man. Because it's chock full of 80s cheese, and it is perfect. It's one of those perfect movies you can like text and look at Instagram, Mixnuts 3000, and you know, just kind of chill out on your phone and have something in the background, and occasionally look up and laugh at the terrible acting. This is the movie for you. All right, so this next one, this is before Chris Evans. This is the 1990 Captain America.
What the hell is even that? Bruh.
Look at this dude's face, bro. Look at his face. Look at his costume. This movie sucked even when I was a kid, but it was like, I loved Captain America and the Marvel characters, so I tried to enjoy it, but this dude's costume sucks. What's going on with his eyes, man? You see this picture of this dude, man? He looks like a dude that bought a Captain America costume off of Wish, and it came in too small or something. Why is it getting in his own eyes? Why would you put zero money into the costume of the main character of the movie? Like, this wasn't no money putting into this. I mean, this dude's basically wearing like a turtleneck that he stretched over his face, and somebody just glued wings on his head. It was awful, bro. I mean, the special effects were terrible. I mean, yeah, it was done in the 90s, but there was like, it was movies done in the 90s like that were still amazing, but they put zero money into the special effects and everything. And not to mention CGI hadn't really taken off like that. So it's a lot of these Marvel characters that may not have been able to really shine then, but they could have at least had a cool costume. This dude got the worst costume ever. And like single-handedly, they made Captain America lame, bro. Like if you was looking at movies, you know, the cartoons, you were like, yeah. But if you looked at the movie, you was like, ooh, this is lame. I'm not even a bully. It made me want to punch him in the face. You know what I mean? I'm like, shut up, loser. You wandering around, everybody knows who you are, but you insist on wearing this terribly fit mask. Look at this thing. The Fantastic Four, 1994 version. Let's dig into this one, because this one's especially awful. But there's a reason for that. Let's dig into it. So while the MCU attempts to get Marvel first family right in 2005, Stan Lee admitted that this unreleased independent film directed by Master of Schlock, Roger Corman, was never meant to be seen by audiences, but instead produced and shelved in an effort to keep the film rights to the source material from expiring. While the claim has been disputed by others involved in the production, the fact remains that the cast was blindsided when the release was canceled, and Marvel executive Avi Arad is on record as having bought the film for a couple of $1 million and ordering all prints to be destroyed. Thus began the tortured journey of Marvel trying to get its first family right on screen. So, unfortunately, this movie was so terrible, it was never released. They really made this movie just to keep the film rights, and I feel like it was a mixture of both, right? They didn't have any really clear direction, but it was like, hey, you know, the law is the law, so they like, I gotta make a movie, don't have a time to make it a good one, throw some cheap costumes up, and just make a legit, like, theoretical hour-and-a-half movie that we could say we have, and have it in court. And so then the dude came back, bought all the copies, destroyed them all, and we never seen that 1994 version of them, because they did not want that to get out, bro. And I don't blame them, because just judging by this screenshot right here, it was probably going to be pretty terrible. Especially considering the Fantastic Four, CGI is a must to even really show their powers. So, yeah. And the crew and the cast, feel bad for them, though. You think you're about to be in a big Marvel movie. Before it was a big Marvel movie, but a movie period, you know, anyway, it's probably a couple of these people first big role or first leading role, and it never sees the light of day. Meanwhile, you've been telling your family and friends you about to be one of the Fantastic Four, and it never comes out. It very much seems like you what they call a liar or full of shit. All right, this next Marvel movie, Daredevil from 2003. Okay, Ben Affleck. All right, this next movie, Daredevil from 2003 with Ben Affleck in it. Wow. This movie, Marvel was still finding their way, bro, because This movie was outlandishly bad. I mean, you seen the Netflix Daredevil? That show was awesome. That was probably like one of the best ones they did, right? The Ben Affleck one was awful. First off, he got this dominatrix costume on. Don't even look like it's combat ready. It's like a mix between like a motorcycle jacket and a dominatrix. Look at this. Look at this outfit, bro. You see him. And I mean, the whole movie was just over the top corny with mad corny lines. I mean, they was walking a line between crazy B movie and Hollywood production. This movie actually did have a pretty good budget, but they spent it all on the effects and the casting. None of it on the actual story though, or the writers, because this movie sucks. Legendarily sucked. I give it up to Ben Affleck. He did apologize, but Ben Affleck is a rare breed of actor because he did Daredevil. He played Superman in a movie and Batman. So this dude is all over the place. But I think he learned how to pick the good roles and not just Daredevilish type stuff. He was a fan, but he clearly didn't read the story because it sucked. All right, Mixnuts, that is it for me today. I'm about to make like a baby and head out. If you want to support the channel, go to buymeacoffee.com/Mixnuts. We got new videos coming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, of course. Check us out on Instagram. That's Mixnuts3000. Again, Mixnuts3000. And until next time,